Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What if the habits you repeat every single day, the ones that feel harmless, normal, even productive, are slowly making you less intelligent? Not overnight, not in a dramatic way, but quietly, gradually, almost invisibly. Because intelligence isn't just about IQ scores or how fast you can answer questions. It's about how clearly you think, how deeply you can focus, how well you can reason, adapt, and reflect. And most people don't lose intelligence because they're born limited. They lose it because of how they live. Today, we're going to break down the everyday habits that slowly dull the mind, the ones that weaken focus, flatten curiosity, and shrink your ability to think deeply. If any of these feel familiar, don't judge yourself. Awareness is the upgrade. Let's begin. 1. You're addicted to distraction, and you call it staying busy. Try this experiment. Sit alone for 5 minutes. No phone, no music, no background noise. Just you and your thoughts. For most people, that feels unbearable. And that's the problem. Your brain has been trained to escape boredom instantly. A notification, a scroll, a video, another tab. But boredom isn't the enemy of intelligence. It's the birthplace of it. When the brain is bored, it starts connecting ideas. It reflects. It wanders. It solves problems quietly in the background. That's how original thought forms. But when you constantly feed your brain short bursts of stimulation, you train it to expect dopamine without effort. Over time, deep focus feels painful, reading feels exhausting, thinking feels slow. Not because you're incapable, but because you've trained your brain to sprint, not walk. The most intelligent minds in history didn't think deeply because they were smarter by default. They had silence. They had space. They had patience. If you never allow your mind to be quiet, it forgets how to think. Start small. When you're waiting, walking, or sitting alone, don't reach for your phone. Let your thoughts breathe. That discomfort you feel, that's your intelligence waking back up. 2. You talk to be heard, not to learn. This one is subtle. You don't notice it because it feels like confidence. You interrupt. You prepare your reply while someone else is talking. You argue to win, not to understand. But every time you do that, you shut down learning. Intelligent people listen more than they speak, not because they're passive, but because they understand something most people miss. Every person knows something you don't, even people you disagree with, especially people you disagree with. Low intelligence isn't about not knowing enough. It's about refusing to update your understanding. The loudest person in the room is often the least aware. The quiet one is watching patterns, absorbing nuance, connecting dots. Listening doesn't just make you smarter. It makes your thinking sharper and more flexible. Next time you're in a conversation, pause before speaking. Ask a question instead of making a point. Don't try to sound intelligent. Try to become intelligent. 3. You avoid anything that makes you feel stupid. Pay attention to this moment. You start learning something new, a skill, a subject, a book. And the second it feels hard, confusing, or uncomfortable, you quit. You tell yourself you're not into it or not good at it. But that's not disinterest. That's fear. Fear of looking incompetent. Fear of struggling. Fear of not being good immediately. Here's the truth. Feeling stupid is the doorway to intelligence. Your brain grows when it's forced to adapt. Struggle creates new neural pathways. Confusion is the signal that learning is happening. When you avoid hard things, your brain stays soft. Over time, it loses flexibility. It stops tolerating complexity. Meanwhile, the people who lean into confusion, who stay when it's uncomfortable, they get sharper, faster, more capable. They don't see difficulty as embarrassment. They see it as training. So the next time something makes you feel dumb, don't escape. That's the moment your intelligence is trying to level up. 4. You've stopped being curious, and you call it confidence. This habit sneaks in quietly. You think you've figured things out. You stop questioning your beliefs. You stop reading deeply. You rely on opinions instead of understanding. It feels like certainty, but it's actually mental stagnation. Truly intelligent people stay curious. They doubt their own assumptions. They test their ideas. They don't need to be right. They want to be accurate. Ask yourself this honestly. When was the last time you changed your mind about something important? If it's been a long time, it's probably not because you're always right. It might be because you've stopped growing. Curiosity keeps the mind alive. Pride slowly shuts it down. 5. You consume more information than you process. This is a modern problem. You watch videos, read posts, absorb opinions, but you rarely stop to reflect. Information without reflection doesn't build intelligence. It creates mental clutter. You start mistaking familiarity for understanding. You recognize ideas, but you can't explain them. You repeat opinions, but you haven't thought them through. Intelligent thinking requires digestion, reading slowly, writing your thoughts, sitting with questions instead of chasing answers, less input, more processing. That's where clarity forms. 6. You let your emotions think for you. This one is uncomfortable. When emotion takes over, logic shuts down. Anger narrows your thinking. Ego blinds you. Anxiety scatters your focus. Intelligence isn't the absence of emotion. It's the ability to pause before acting on it. If you react instantly, you're not thinking. You're reflexing. The smartest people you know aren't emotionally cold. They're emotionally regulated. They feel deeply, but they don't let feelings drive decisions. Learning to pause, breathe, and think before responding is one of the fastest ways to increase mental clarity, bringing it all together. Losing intelligence doesn't happen because of bad genes or low potential. It happens because of habits. Distraction kills focus. Talking too much kills learning. Avoiding difficulty kills growth. Pride kills curiosity. Emotion without regulation kills clarity. The good news? You don't need to become smarter. You need to stop blocking your intelligence. Break one habit. Just one. Protect your focus. Listen more. Lean into discomfort. Stay curious. Intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about staying disciplined, humble, and willing to learn when it's uncomfortable. Before you scroll away, pause for a second. Which habit caught you the hardest? That's where your growth starts. If this video made you think, stick around. We talk about clarity, self-respect, and mental strength here. I'll see you in the next one.